crowds away. Even back then, San Francisco was known as a place to let loose and have some fun. Whenever a ship dropped anchor, the sailors would make a beeline to the wharf to indulge in some of the delights of the city, drinking, gambling, and the company of, shall we say, companionable women. As we round the bend, take a look at the ship docked here at the High Street Pier. Find the ship with the 3 tall masts. That's the Balclutha. It was built in Scotland in 1886. In her day, the Balclutha sailed the very long and very dangerous trip around Cape Horn at the tip of South America, across the Atlantic Ocean to England and back. In the 1930s, she was retired and brought here to the High Street Pier. But the Balclutha still sees some action now and then. In fact, she had a starring role in the film Mutiny on the Bounty, along with Marlon Brando. Now find the big white ferry boat docked next to the Balclutha. It has a black smokestack. That's the Eureka, once the largest ferry boat in the world. In the 1890s, long before the Golden Gate and Bay Bridges were built, the Eureka ferried people, cattle, and even a few train cars across the bay. Look up the hill behind the breaker. Find the long red brick building. It has a large white sign. That's Ghirardelli Square, in business since 1893. If you like chocolate as much as I do, and that may be hard, you'll have to visit Ghirardelli Square. It once housed a factory that churned out every kind of chocolate you can imagine, and some you haven't thought of yet. Today, however, the factory has been converted to luxury condos, but you can still enjoy some delicious chocolate treats at the Ghirardelli shop. The rest of the square is fun too. It's full of stores and restaurants that offer more delicious treats. Now find the white Art Deco style building near the shore. With its rounded corners, it kind of looks like a ship. Appropriately enough, its side is the San Francisco Maritime Museum, a great place to learn about this region's seafaring past, including the Barbary Coast. Do you see any people on the fishing pier today? If you want to try your luck while you're here, go ahead. You don't need a license. You also might see some swimmers in the water around here. Very brave swimmers. The water in the bay always stays around a chilly 56 degrees. But the Dolphin Swim Club dives in every day. See if you can spot any of their bright orange swimming caps. Take a moment here to look around at the city's skyline. Have you tried to walk up or down any of those steep streets yet? Some San Francisco streets are at such a steep angle that their sidewalks have stairs cut into them, just to keep you from falling over. But if you've got a car, don't miss the world's crookedest street. It's called Lombard Street and is located on Russian Hill. Even in thick fog and pouring rain, there'll be a line of cars waiting to wind down Lombard's twisted slope at the posted speed limit of 5 miles per hour. Those green wooded hills we're passing now are part of Fort Mason. The Spanish established Fort Mason when they first came to this area in the mid-1700s. They held the fort until 1850, when the U.S. took it over. The Army built the orange-roofed warehouses you see along here. During World War II, over 1 million American soldiers passed through those buildings on their way to the war in the Pacific. But today, instead of soldiers and supplies, inside those warehouses are a music school, a theater company, environmental organizations, and several museums. Now, look at the neighborhood just past Fort Mason. That's the Marina District. anything different about it? Unlike a lot of San Francisco, it's relatively flat. That's because it was once part of the bay. This area was created by a landfill project in 1915 for one of our city's greatest festivals, the Panama Pacific International Exposition. In the eyes of the world, the Panama Pacific Exposition was staged to celebrate the completion of the Panama Canal. But San Franciscans were celebrating an even more important event, the rebirth of their city after the devastating earthquake of 1906. It was the largest quake ever recorded in America, 8.25 on the Richter scale. As buildings toppled, an immense fire broke out. It swept across the city and burned out of control for 3 days and 2 nights. 250,000 people were left homeless. Many lived in tents while the city was rebuilt. Ironically, the land created to celebrate surviving that earthquake was the hardest hit part of the city in the next big one, the Loma Prieta earthquake of 1989. The landfill was unstable, and just as in 1906, as the buildings fell, fires quickly spread. Fire boats were called in right where we are now, and began pumping water from the bay to squelch the flames. Their quick response saved lives, but many marine residents were left homeless. Some of them camped out in tents while their homes were being rebuilt, just like the 1906 survivors. The Marina neighborhood and find the tall domed building. That's the Palace of Fine Arts. It's the only building to remain from the 1915 Panama Pacific International Exposition. It was just too beautiful to knock down.
There's the Golden Bridge.
Darting back and forth across the waves. They may look graceful, but watch out, they're going fast. San Francisco Bay, especially along here, is world-class windsurfing territory. Windsurfers say the van turns on around noon when the bay's steady gusts really kick up. More recently, kiteboarders have joined the action. These brave souls can actually soar 20 feet above the waves like human kites, powered only by the wind and their own thirst for adventure. Truly, there's never a dull moment on the San Francisco Bay. Where the trees begin along the shore is the border of the Presidio. Presidio means military fort in Spanish. It was a military fort all the way back to 1776, just after Spanish conquistadors landed here and claimed the bay for the King of Spain. The fort was built to protect the entrance to the bay, the Golden Gate. The opening to the bay was called the Golden Gate long before there was a bridge. For many years, Spanish ships sailed by this opening, never seeing it was there. They were fooled by an optical illusion. You see, from out in the Pacific, the mountains surrounding the bay miles behind us looked like a continuous wall. So there appeared to be no opening, especially in fog.